Okay, this is a dissection of a mink. We can start at the anterior end. So if we look at this mink here, we can see in this region up front here, this has the mandibular glands, which are just located here, and to some extent here. Parotid gland is not visible. I think it's been removed with the skin in this mink. Okay, so we have a little look in our throat region, and what we have is a very clear trachea, and beneath the trachea we should be able to observe, here we are, the esophagus, which is just there. That's our esophagus. Then travel down and we find here lungs, lobes of the lung, and between those we have the heart just here. We then have beneath this the diaphragm, which of course is involved in respiration by expansion and contraction of the thoracic chamber, which can reduce pressure and so allow lungs to expand. And then up here we have, move into the abdominal cavity, we have the lobes of the liver, and at the top here we find the gallbladder, which you can see is quite different in texture from a hard liver and a little squishy gallbladder, which is again producing those emulsifying alkali salts to assist in fat digestion. So there's a little gallbladder duct that travels down to the duodenum at the pyloric sphincter to release those juices. Now, in the mammal, we have what's called the greater mentum, which is a large membranous structure which covers the abdominal organs, specifically the intestines. And so you can see that this is well vascularized with lymph structures as well, and it can be folded forward to reveal the small intestine and organs beneath. What we'll do is we'll focus on the region above this to start. If I lift the liver, you can find here the stomach, which is going to loop back round and then link to the duodenum here. Duodenum then travels down to join with and contribute to the small intestine altogether. If we look on this side of the stomach here, we look around, we find a spleen, which is responsible for blood filtration and removal of dead blood cells. But in mammals, it does not do red blood cell production. That instead is done in the bone marrow. So it's just a filtration and dead red blood cell removal. And underneath our omentum, we can see this structure here, which is the pancreas. There's that pancreas. That's going to be connecting over here to our duodenum. Okay. So we'll lift the omentum out of the way now. And one can actually follow the small intestine around the body, and actually you will at some point transition from the duodenum into the jejunum, and then from the jejunum into the ileum, and you'll see that there's lovely mesenteries providing blood and lymph all the way along the intestine. Okay, so it's held together in a sort of spiral structure. All of these components we loop until we start to get to the large intestine, loops around the top and then down here to exit out of the colon and the rectum. Now this is a female mink, and so if I look in here, I'll find the uterine horns, one on the left and one on the right, and if we look closely we can start to see at the end the ovary located at the end of the uterine horns, visible here, this structure. That there. Okay. Uterine horns combine to a uterus, and then we have the vagina, which isn't visible, but will lead to the external orifice. We have here the bladder, and that will be fed by the ureters traveling from our kidney. Here's one kidney, and on the other side we have our other kidney. Okay, and this is a lobe of liver just up here, so that's separate from this kidney. All right. That is a brief introduction to the digestive system and the major organs of a mink, as well as its reproductive system in the female.